guys, welcome back to another video, and in today's video, I finally got my hands on the Novritsch ssg24. Let me tell you, it's a pretty swell gun. Now, before I get into the real reason you're watching this video, I'd like just to thank the Steel Reapers for inviting me out to play with them and to their field. It was a fantastic day. There were a bunch of great guys, great players. I really enjoyed this. And a huge shout out and many thanks to my teammate for letting me use his rifle. It was really generous of him, and I really appreciate it and couldn't do this video without him. So many thanks go out to you. Now, on to my thoughts, and really this is more of my first impressions of the gun. And it's pretty great, I'm not gonna lie. Now, everyone who's big into the airsoft scene and who's just into the sport, or maybe if you're kind of just getting into it but familiar, you've probably seen or at least heard of the ssg24. It's a pretty famous gun, pretty big gun. And when I first heard about it, I thought, this is fantastic. But then I kind of got into it more. I upgraded and customized my own, and I thought that it was going to be overrated. And it's overpriced, but getting my hands on it, really getting to play with it, I kind of have a little bit of a different impression after that. So, the rifle that I made and upgraded shoots almost as well as this. I could even say I've ended up outshooting players using an SSG before. It's happened. I've been in like sniper duels with them, and I've outshot them and outplayed them. However, getting my hands on the SSG, it just feels cleaner and like it's really refined and just down to the minor details, whereas the one that I upgraded and I customized with the heavier springs and all that, it tends to, it's a pretty tough bolt to pull, and then it has some resistance pushing it back in, and the trigger's really stiff. It fires very well, but it's those minor details that really kind of push the SSG forward. I was surprised, like out of my mind, at how smooth the bolt was. It was just, it was quick, and the first time I actually primed it before like an actual shot in the game, I ended up way over pulling on it just because of what I'm accustomed to. But it's super, super smooth, and it's clean, and it just feels good overall. Pushing the bolt back forward is smooth, and it's light. It's very nice. The trigger was crisp and really light, but not to the point that it felt weak or like a toy. It was still very refined, but almost like a very well-running machine where it's able to do exactly what it needs to do and yet still somehow feel like it's not weak or it's gonna break on you. And just overall, the build quality was very impressive. In the video you're seeing, I'm running .46s in this, and I didn't have a scope cam, unfortunately. Mine died right before this game. I'd been playing for a few hours. I hadn't actually planned on getting my hands on this really for like a video purpose, so unfortunately I don't have the scope cam. But the shots were going straight and pretty much level until they dropped off. I'll have to see if that's consistent, just because I played one game, first impressions, maybe got like 30 rounds through it during this time, so I didn't really get a whole bunch of experience with it to really get the feel of it. But for my first experience, it was pretty consistent and it performed pretty well overall. Now, speaking of putting rounds through it, the most important thing to the round into the gun is the magazine, and I have a lot of issues with magazines. If I'm going to end up buying a rifle that has a specific magazine designed for it that won't take any other ones, I expect the mags to load easily to keep the BBs in them, they have to fit well, and they have to be easy to take out to reload. With my classic army, for example, that I upgraded, the magazines I feel are very, very nice. They're not flawless, and there are definitely a whole collective of things that I would fix about them. The biggest one is just getting the magazine out of the gun. It's very difficult to do that with gloves on, and just how small the mag release is on the magazine, and how difficult it is to actually get the magazine out once you have the release pressed. On the L96 type that I use, the magazines are large and they load very well and they come out very nicely. However, they're not the greatest as far as loading. They can tend to shoot BBs out when they load, and that I found is a big issue. I didn't get to load the magazines for the SSG. However, I did experience they were very easy to unload and reload. It did take some getting used to. Like any new platform, it took a couple tries to really get smooth at it. But once the magazine was in, maybe a quick tap to make sure it was really in there, and it was good and it was secure and it fed very cleanly. I have no complaints there. They are clear, the magazines, which I found to be pretty nice, just knowing how many BBs you have left. I didn't check in game. I think I took my magazine out once to see. Um, so in that moment, it was convenient. That's not a huge point unless you just don't like the clear magazine look. But other than that, I really don't think the color had much, if any, sort of effect to it. Um, so they do what they're supposed to do, and that's all I can really say on them. So, just overall, honestly, I feel like this isn't going to be surprising, but Novritsch really clearly put a lot of thought into the design. Again, since I was borrowing one, I didn't really get to do much testing with it. I'd like to shoot a few more, probably like a lot more BBs through it, test ranges, different temperatures, that sort of thing. Maybe see if there are any magazines that could potentially fit. I run, like in CQB, I prefer to run my Tavor just because I like how it looks. It's got that like kind of like sci-fi bullpup style look to it that I think is really clean and nice. But it also takes standard M4 style magazines, which is really nice because there's no struggle to find specific magazines by Elite Force for the Tavor. It's just there's so much compatibility that I know just the just another M4 can be frustrating, but just having the ability to just take any sort of mag or be able to borrow a mag from somebody when you're out. That's why I'll also run like a Troy just so that I have that option to me. So I want to see if potentially other mags work. I don't think any will, because I'm pretty sure Novritsch wanted it to be set up so that you'd have to use his magazines, which is totally okay. It's his gun, it's his design, and the magazines work, so I have no complaint there. If the magazines didn't work, that would be an issue, but they do what they're supposed to do, and they do it well. But just, this is really more of a first impressions type video. You can see there, the bolt, you can hear it, it's smooth, pretty clean. I'll have
Did I get you?
a real right there. I was shocked. I totally thought I missed him, but apparently I got him. I'll have a full review coming out sometime in the future. Not sure when. It might be a while before I can get my hands on my own, and some actual gameplay of the SSG. But until then, I hope you enjoyed this video. I certainly enjoyed playing with the Novritsch ssg24. It was quite a blast. Huge thank out, huge shout out to the Steel Reapers. You guys are awesome. Thanks for having me. Another big thank you to my teammate for letting me use his gun. It was amazing, and it was super generous of him too. Like, we just met that day, so just that he was trusting in me, it's a huge honor, and I'm truly grateful. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, a like and a sub, they're always appreciated. I have hoodies, shameless self-promotion, but how else do I grow? So, if you want one, I'll have a link in the description, or if you don't want one, that's okay. I'm just saying they're really soft, and comfortable, and warm. But whatever. If you don't want one, that's okay too. And just remember, when you go out and play fair, play responsibly, and have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll see you in the next one.